Search and tech news and analysis for the integrated digital marketer. Find it here every week on SEM Synergy from the team at Bruce Clay Inc. Join your hosts and leading search and social media marketing pros to find your winning digital marketing formula. Get the latest news, trends, and analysis in SEO, PPC, web design, content, and social media. Now welcome your hosts, an elite internet marketing team built by the founding father of SEO and accomplished search engine marketing scholar, Bruce Clay Incorporated.
Welcome to SEM Synergy. I'm Bruce Clay, and you're listening to our weekly digital marketing podcast. I'm here with Duane Forrester, Kristi Kellogg, and Virginia Nussey.
Hi, everyone. This is Virginia, and if this is the first time you're catching our show, welcome to 30 minutes a week where you'll hear from the foremost experts in digital marketing about the marketing trends you need to know about today. I'm going to do a quick round of introductions. Duane Forrester is Bruce Clay Inc.'s VP, and before that, a senior product manager at Microsoft's search engine Bing. He's the author of 2 books about making money online with content and search marketing, and all around a deeply plugged-in tech trend watcher and futurist. Of course, around the table from me is Bruce Clay. He founded BCI 20 years ago. He's recognized for coining the phrase search engine optimization, also the author of several books, including the SEO All-in-One for Dummies. Both Duane and Bruce travel the world helping to grow businesses' online presence through digital business strategy training and speaking at conferences. And in fact, you guys were both in New York last week at Affiliate Summit. And Kristi Kellogg, social media editor here, has been with the company since 2013. She knows her way around the social web, marketing automation tools, and is one of our team's biggest video evangelists. Unlike other social media experts, she's also on point with SEO best practices, which inform and amplify all the marketing initiatives we do here at BCI. And I'm Virginia. I'm the content and media manager. I've been honing my craft here at BCI since 2008.
Thanks for the introductions, Virginia. So, what do we talk about? We cover the latest news in digital marketing and offer analysis to help decision makers lead their marketing teams to increased profitability. Today, let's talk about mobile because there are a couple of headlines that caught our eye this week on the topic of how mobile is changing how business is done on the web. In 2015, for the first time, mobile searches surpassed desktop searches. More people browse the web from their phone than from their computer. Okay, a year later, we've got all that. The challenge for businesses and marketers is what that means on a strategic and logistical level. What do you change about how your website functions, how your copy reads, and what you offer? This week, we learned about the latest Adobe quarterly digital intelligence briefing on mobile.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to cover a little bit of this, guys. It's a very interesting read, and I recommend folks go take a look at it. The organizations that were surveyed in the report showed some interesting information to us. An average of 37% of the total digital traffic is now via mobile, up from about 31% in 2015. So it's obvious and material growth, 62% of respondents agreed that this is set to increase to be more than half of traffic later this year. So we're on pace, we're on trend. We know that this is going to happen. The challenge, I think, is that, and the respondents are also saying this, that for many of them, the traffic is not translating into revenue. It's not there. So while mobile traffic is increasing, the majority of organizations are making less than 30% of their revenue through mobile devices. And the question is, why? In the report, roughly 63% agreed that the quality of the mobile experience is more important than of that same experience on desktop because there's no room for error or waste. Now, I'm kind of wondering, is this why traffic converts into sales at such a significantly lower rate than on desktop devices or laptops? And ultimately, what is a business supposed to do about the traffic to revenue gap?
I've just had a client that took and built a beautiful site, and they made it mobile friendly, and it was right from the beginning, everything was good. Their conversion rate was on a desktop over triple the conversion rate on a mobile device for the very same content. And it formats properly. So I think that what we're facing is that people on a mobile device I don't know if they're more research and that their attribution is going to be on a desktop once they get home, or whether, what are they doing when they're buying?
Yeah, it feels like there's an intent that we've yet to uncover, and the intent is surfaced by device, because the device defines the situation. When I'm sitting at home on my sofa, the television is on, and I'm on my laptop, I will go on Amazon, I will shop for products, I will read reviews, I will complete transactions, all of that type of thing. On my phone, however, maybe there's a feeling that I may be missing something because of the smaller footprint where I'm consuming. And let's face it, when we're looking at things on a phone, we are often in other situations. I mean, if you're walking down the street looking at your phone, shopping for a product, you also have to not walk out into traffic, not bump into other people. So there is a built-in distraction, I think, that comes on a mobile device. Maybe that's impacting people's desire to complete a transaction on a mobile device versus that I'm now sitting down, I feel like I can do this transaction and pay attention to it. I don't know. And maybe we will see over time that will change.
There's the last click attribution question again for mobile. If you're getting a ton of traffic on mobile and you're seeing people stay on your pages for a long time, if they're able to read your content on mobile, this is all good. If they don't end up converting on mobile, they later do it from their home desktop, that's still good. So you can't discount, or I don't want to overvalue the fact that you're not getting conversions on mobile.
But multi-platform attribution is fundamental to knowing that.
Yes.
I mean, if you do not know that it originated on mobile and was completed on a desktop or a pad, it doesn't do you any good. To the world, the conversion rate on mobile is down.
Yeah, and that's I think a key point in all of this, right? Is what is the multi-platform tracking? What does that look like in the face of the data that's gathered here? Because if no one's doing it, or it's difficult, or it's implemented incorrectly, then it would look like, in fact, your desktop is holding steady or up and your mobile conversions are down, when the truth is quite the opposite. Your mobile is what's driving a large portion, or even not large, but significant portion of those desktop transactions. I personally do a lot of shopping on Amazon via my phone. I put a lot of stuff in my cart. And then when I get home, I finalize my purchase when I've had a chance to go through and read everything to make certain it's the right product, to dig up the negative reviews, to see if I'm okay with it, and all of that. That's my desktop mentality, where I complete that. Is Amazon giving credit to that because it started on the mobile device? Or are they just saying, no, that's a transaction that happened on the web?
And right? I have the same thing. My garage is where Amazon boxes go to die. I have more empty boxes in my garage than I'd care to. I actually have to bundle them in order to get them to be thrown out. But I have never ordered anything from my phone.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem searching and saying, yeah, that's the battery I want.
Yeah.
And like you, I could put it in a cart.
Yep.
But what I really like to do is see it. I like to read the reviews. I like to know what other people are saying. And in particular, I like to see people who viewed this also viewed that. I go through all those things and say, well, why am I missing this? Is there something better? And that decision process, to me, requires a bigger view of the product offering.
Right, and this actually brings up something that's always in the back of my mind. Are we old? Like, as consumers, is there a split with consumers on behavior? Because, like you, Bruce, I like to do the multi-image view. I like the larger view that my screen at home affords me, because then when I zoom in, I get more detail. I'm not limited by my screen size on my mobile device. And I'm okay with the wait. Other people, the younger generations that are coming along, they may be looking at this completely differently and saying, no, I'll just complete everything on my mobile devices, which then means if they are the leading driver of the mobile transactions, perhaps the reason the transactions, the actual conversions, aren't there is monetary. They simply are shopping and window shopping for things they would like, but are not ready to spend on or cannot afford to spend on. And that's why we see this split. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it's a version of the two of these that has this. But as a business, if you're not thinking about those things, you're going to be missing some opportunities. And for me, the biggest takeaway is cross-platform attribution.
And my question then is it there yet?
Right. That's ultimately it. I know that there are probably a dozen businesses out there that will tell you, absolutely, cross-platform is here, no problem. And be careful with that, because they may be there in some circumstances, but it may not work in other circumstances, or there may be a limit on it. It's very important to understand where the edge of that envelope is with all of our current generation. You should still be able to pull together data, though, with what you have. Even if it's not in a single location, highly worth gathering the data from all the points yourself and drawing your own picture from it.
One of the things that we are fortunate to be is we are one of the premier partners for Google.
Mm-hmm.
And Google actually comes and does presentations, and we see all this stuff. And they've been working on cross-platform attribution for a very, very long time. They've indicated a lot of it is already there. We
Yes.
have to see what's going on.
Yeah.
So it's time for a break to hear from our sponsors.
Don't go away. SEM Synergy will be right back.
Hey, this is Danny Sullivan to talk to you about Bruce Clay Incorporated. They've made Inc. Magazine's list of growing private businesses and have exhibited and sponsored at my conferences since the very beginning. You've seen their search engine relationship chart, or you've read their SEO code of ethics, so you know they're SEO experts. But did you know they can help you with PPC, web analytics, web design, marketing strategy, promotion, and branding? Yep, get everything you need for success in the online marketplace. You can check it out from the professionals at Bruce Clay Incorporated. For over 10 years with offices worldwide, they've got the answers you need. Check them out today at bruceclay.com.
Are you paying too much for your paid advertising, or have you quit altogether because it seemed like a huge waste of money? Studies show that companies waste 25% of their PPC spend on average. The web marketing experts at WMEtraining.com can show you how to make your AdWords account a lean, mean converting machine. Whether you're just starting out or want to take your skills to the next level, we have a class for you. Contact the web marketing experts at WMEtraining.com.
Is your website hacked? Is your website displaying error messages or loading slowly? Even if there are no signs of malicious activity, your site may still be compromised. Websites, like cars, require regular maintenance to perform at their best and not leave you stranded. At Fjorge, our website maintenance experts can help you assess which one of our maintenance plans will best support your needs. Visit fjorgedigital.com or call 612-877-3840 and get the support and protection your website and business deserve. That's FJORGE digital.com.
Cranberry Radio. Online anytime at cranberry.fm.
Search and tech news and analysis for the integrated digital marketer. You're listening to SEM Synergy, only on Cranberry Radio. Once again, your hosts from Bruce Clay Inc.
We're back. I'm Bruce Clay, and just as before, I'm here with Duane Forrester, Kristi Kellogg, and Virginia Nussey to share our take on the digital marketing trends you need to know about. And believe me, there's a lot of trends. Today we've got mobile in the spotlight, and if you recall from the top half of the show, that we are talking about the Adobe Digital Intelligence Briefing on mobile. 62% of the people surveyed in that particular report indicated that it's going to be traffic for mobile this year.
Yeah, that's the big one. No question. I mean, we kind of saw that coming, but at the, I remember it was almost 2 years ago now when the desktop and mobile query share swapped places in the world of search engines. And we all knew it was coming, didn't know the actual, and it was January of that particular year, and there it was. And now we're seeing this happen in mobile.
Yep, and there's some new news about accelerated mobile pages. You may have heard about AMP, mobile pages that are stripped down versions of pages. There are pages that don't have JavaScript or interactive elements that allow pages to load faster on mobile. And one of the advantages to using AMP along with a fast-loading page for your mobile users is that Google provides a small ranking boost for these pages. The boost is only on mobile search results. On mobile, where pages are expected to load in less than a second, speed is paramount, and that's why Google provides the incentive to have AMP versions of pages.
When AMP first came out, we wrote an article that it was just for news publishers. Well, that is not the case anymore. AMP pages are really taking off. Google announced that 150 million AMP pages are indexed and 4 million new pages are being added every week. The Webmaster blog, they said that they've seen an incredible global adoption of AMP that has gone beyond the news industry to include e-commerce, entertainment, travel, recipe sites, and more. And as always, Google is changing things up on us, and so our opinion also will change.
Or you would see AMP results in what's called a carousel at the top of a mobile results page. Now they're going to be rolling out expanded AMP support across the entire SERP. Rankings will remain the same, but those pages that are AMP versions will have an AMP label on them. It's a gray little circle with a white lightning bolt with AMP written to the right.
You can check out a demo of this, what it looks like, by going to g.co/AMP demo on your mobile device and try searching for a French toast recipe to see what pops up. So what is your take on AMP today, Bruce?
Well, when AMP first came out, and it was, first of all, I thought it was a problem because it was really stripped JavaScript. A lot of user interface materials were not going to be allowed. Ads were not going to be able to be run on your website if it was AMP. Well, that's how people make money in many cases. They've changed the rules a lot. The problem I personally have with AMP is that the rules are pretty strict and subject to change without notice. We've had plenty of clients talk to us, and large accounts at conferences talk to us about how the fact that it's like every day the rules change. And they adapt to the rules, and before they can implement it even in their production environment, the rules have changed again. I'm personally somewhat upset, just personally, that the AMP pages are Google's property and we're signing them over to Google. I think that giving my copyrighted material to Google in their agreements, because if you agree to AMP, you agreed to it. If you concede that to Google, I just lost all of my information, all my property, all my rights. It's Google's rights now, and they're run from Google websites.
AMP really is, it looks like Google's gaining a lot of control. They're like the content delivery network, and now maybe the content owner. But the advantages are there too. Duane, from the fact that the developer documentation is changing all the time, can you kind of fill us in on because you've seen behind the search engines, does a business just halt what they're doing, or do they just have to take it and change, or is it worth it, or do you wait for a certain amount of stability?
Yes, absolutely. So the way this kind of breaks down for a business is, when AMP first came out, Bruce mentioned this, right? It was very specific what Google wanted and the focus that they were taking. And that was done as a test of concept more than anything else. They approached large partners, said, invest in this, do this, you'll see the benefit. In the early days, as a consumer, theoretically the benefit was there, but in practice, it just didn't pop that much. There wasn't that much to see. At the scale Google tests that, however, it gives them the numbers they need to know whether to pursue this or not. They clearly feel it's worth it. I've done the demo that was suggested because I am a foodie and I am a friend of French toast. So I'm seeing this. And when you actually click on the result, I'm a bit of a power user, just by virtue of what I do for a living. But I can imagine that this experience for the average consumer in America, the time it takes from you tapping on that result to seeing it, they would think it's instantaneous. It is that fast. So there is a definite benefit of, I trust this website, click, boom. Almost instantly I get what I want, and that's why I trust this website. Fabulous for established folks already. But if you're not established, you're also not really getting that traffic. I am consuming your recipe and then I am leaving, thank you very much, and that's all. What is fascinating to me, though, is a couple of things have happened throughout the brief history of AMP. Someone figured out a way how to inject ads into it. And folklore has it that even the AMP engineers didn't think that was possible until someone had shown them it, and they said, oh, great, okay. Which gives us a clue, right? Let's assume that there is a nugget of truth in this folklore. That means that someone in the community of users being engaged with the product is figuring out ways to make it more palatable to the business, which then becomes the answer to your question, does a business wait for stability? Apparently not, because other businesses have not. They've moved forward. My bellwether, my curve is, if I want to be ahead of my competitors or I need to keep pace with my competitors, then I have no choice. The answer in both of those cases is I move forward now and I get engaged. What Bruce has talked about, however, the agreement that you are entering into with Google on this is incredibly important for businesses. This is not like an agreement to run AdWords ads. This is not like an agreement to show AdSense ads on your website. This is an actual agreement that you are stating you will give your intellectual property, that which cost you time and money to create, you will give that freely to Google to use as they see fit today and tomorrow. You know, as a business owner, you better have a really compelling rationale on how that fits your business model and how that makes you money in the long run. I think we're going to see some leveling off on this. This is very much it's still a new and nuanced item. The rollout of this was extraordinarily well controlled at the beginning, and now it's almost like someone pulled the trigger and we went from a laser to a shotgun. And it's across all these areas and everyone wants to use it. And we have clients coming to us every day that are in no way aligned with what Google has stated would be considered for this. And yet it's a reasonable case that they might be aligned with this, and why not? So I think it's going to go that same way. It's going to go much broader in scope and bring more people in and have them engage with it. But businesses do need to be careful with this one more than most other things. They need to be aware of what this is doing with them, with their content.
Now, to be totally fair to Google, if they are compressing and putting it on their resource and expending money to facilitate a quick load, and if they're doing anything to compress your website and doing things that would modify your website, I can understand why they would want rights.
Oh, the control aspect makes complete sense to me.
But the ownership aspect is not what I like.
Yeah, that is a concern for me. The need to control this is born out of a fact that generally across the internet, businesses fail at getting some of these technical things right. And Google has stepped in and said, we will solve the technical problems for you. Here's what we require. And it's not, it is a legitimate solution. There's no question. It solves those speed load issues and it does expose people to it. But businesses need to pay more close attention to this one. This isn't just a jump in because the water looks deep thing. You've really got to do some research on it.
The former head of content at Moz, Cyrus Shepard, recently tweeted a thought on AMP, and he said, "What happens to AMP when internet speeds inevitably get faster? What do you guys think?"
Well, I don't know that the speeds for a mobile device are going to get so fast that it can overcome AMP, at least not in the near term. Remember that speeds on the internet are only partially your website and your server. The speeds also are the entire,
the network.
The network, yeah. And, there's a lot of points in the network that are inefficient, and routing may be rerouted. There's all sorts of things. Plus, there's still the broadcast capability. If I'm on a 3G network, it doesn't matter how fast the server is. Yeah. So you've got to figure out that, if the internet is infinitely fast, then nobody should care. But it isn't, and it won't be there yet.
And then this is a common issue with mobile, because you're not, there's been a lot of investment in infrastructure for getting us high-speed internet in our homes and businesses. The connective tissue of our lives, the driving to and from work, the out running errands, and getting our data that way, is largely, it is exclusively over the air. That's it. So whether you're Wi-Fi or you're taking in a cell signal, you are at the mercy of so many other outside influences that we will never get there. I mean, it's just not realistic over the next 10 years that we will have cell phone speeds and digital network speeds over the air that are as fast as what we enjoy online today. It will take us a while to get there. And part of that reason is the companies' desire to slow that speed so that they can control the consumers and map the amount of revenue that they get with growth over time. So technically we might be capable of doing it, but there could be very good business reasons why our cell carriers don't want us to get there that fast, or at least they feel they're valid reasons. But because of that, if you're Google and you can control that pipeline by keeping people in your sphere, so Google search result, your content served from Google via AMP, and it's near instantaneous, you negate the entire, what is my telephone network doing? Are there 1,000 people around me? I'm at a concert, connectivity is low. You negate all of those arguments. And that's the reality that everyone fights against in mobile today.
Unless you're at a conference, in which case you can never get a connection.
Oh, yes.
Don't even count on it.
Yes, Wi-Fi is a myth.
Thanks, everybody. That brings us to the end of our time today. Let us know if you liked hearing the news from our perspective. We're at Bruce Clay Inc. all over the web. Please subscribe if you want new episodes delivered straight to your listening app. We'll see you next time on SEM Synergy.
The opinions expressed are those of the hosts and their guests and do not necessarily reflect those of the staff and management of Cranberry News Marketing and Cranberry.fm. Rebroadcasts or retransmission of this content without proper consent is prohibited.